Jai Srimanarayan.
Jai Srimanarayan.
Om Sri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha.
Sri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha.
Jai Srimanarayan. Bhagavad Gita, celestial song of Lord Krishna for the sake of humanity. It's not just for making Arjuna to do the war. Lord Krishna's focus was on all human beings, as in how man has to lead his life. While leading the life, what man has to understand, how he has to translate his whole life into spiritual way. Focusing these things, Krishna preached Bhagavad Gita, and it is a beacon light for all of us to attain what we call as divine bliss of God. Choosing Arjuna as a calf, he being a gwal, a cowherd person, he milked the Upanishads, making her as a cow, and gave us the milk of knowledge. Bhagavad Gita provides us all sorts of solutions. Any problem is given, there will be a solution. Man has to use Bhagavad Gita, or it's his duty to take the help of Bhagavad Gita for making his life a very successful journey in the ocean of ahankara, in the ocean of ego, what we call as samsara. In second chapter, there is a sloka which Krishna revealed to the humanity as in how man has to survive, man has to live, has to lead his life. There will be constantly problems coming. There will be constantly troubles man has to face. After all, he has to lead the life for which he has to earn, for which he has to do, satisfy so many people around. And it's a journey, as we said, it's a journey in the ocean where there are very, very big waves and small waves of problems constantly bothering the person who is making the journey. And man has to know how to face them. But while facing, how he has to keep his spirits stronger in reaching the goal of divine bliss. He said in the sloka, Yamhina vyadhayantyete purusham purusharashabha samadukha sukham dhiram so amrutatvaya kalpate. You want amrtatvam. Amrtatvam means that you want to be forever. Your name, people should remember forever. Everybody wants it, right? We see people giving big donations out of generosity for big hospitals, and they put the name. So people remember that name. Oh my God, this guy did this much of generosity. He's so great. That's how people think of him, right? And everybody wants, whether some people go to the extent of putting their name on the temple, and some people try to put their name in that sanctum sanctorum. And I've seen still people putting their name on the pedestal of the Perumal deity. Even they go to that level. That means everybody is interested in having his own name to be there forever in the history. That's fine. You need Amrtatvam. That is called Amrtatvam. No? But this name we don't know how long people are going to remember. But if you really want your name should be remembered forever, just like Prahlada, people remember Nachiketas. What to do? Yemhina vyadhayanti purusham. There are so many things every day come in your way, in your life. While facing them, sama dukkha sukham dhiram. You must be a dhira. Dhi means brilliance. And you must be a great dhira. You must be always just like a bold person, a wise, to face anything and to solve them. But how can you do that? Sama dukkha sukham. Then only you can become a dhira. That means at times some problems come. Sometimes you may achieve what you wanted, and sometimes you may achieve more than what you expect. Even when you get something good, don't hit the roof. And when you lose the whole stuff, then don't reach the depths of sorrow. You must be able to face both of them boldly, equally. Because they come at the physical level, they came at the worldly level, and you should be by yourself and me. And if that is done, then only you can attain that eternity, the Amrtatvam, he said. But if you want to be that way, then you need to learn a few things like, what am I? What is my body? What's my family? What's my world around? And what's my duty? And what I should know? How I should know? Where I have to focus upon? And to whom have I to dedicate the whole thing? And again, when a feel of, what you call that, over proud or over joy comes, then how to again control that? And when there are so many emotions, how to face the situation then? How to bear with all those things? So, these are the things actually discussed by Krishna in several chapters of Bhagavad Gita. It is a psychotherapy, It's not just a book of spirituality, or it's not just a book of what you call philosophy. Because problems are not similar to everyone, and problems are not same to the same person always. So for the same person, problems keep changing. And for different people, again, at the same situation, the problems will vary. And the solutions must be unique. And at the same time, they must be universal too. And which is very difficult. That is where Gita has its own place. That's what Gita is trying to communicate. Should I ask you one question? Bible. Whose is that book? Huh? No, for whose is that book? Christians. And Quran? Muslims. What about Guru Granth Sahib? Sikh. What about Bhagavad Gita? Yes. Got 100 marks. Bhagavad Gita is not the book of Indians. Bhagavad Gita is not the book of Hindus. Bhagavad Gita is not a preaching for Arjuna. Bhagavad Gita is for the man at large who wants to make his life more comfortable more beneficial and more joyful. That is why people translated Gita into all the languages of the world, and they are trying to understand what it says. Here now we are, the great Yamuna Muni, who was living in 10th century and 11th century, part of 11th and 10th, who understood the whole essence of Bhagavad Gita and presented to us the essence of all the chapters, what each chapter says, what are the important things in that particular chapter, and what is the essence of first part, second part, third part, and overall essence of Bhagavad Gita. That's how he divided the whole content of the Bhagavad Gita, and he gave us Gitardha Sangraham, a small rendering, which we are going to discuss during this class. Okay. Yesterday we started that first sloka where we understood what the meaning of the word Narayana and Param Brahma. Narayana doesn't mean he was a man, and Param Brahma is not just one who is having an abode. Param Brahma is the supreme being which makes everything to become that big as that particular being is. And Narayana is the one force. It is one entity that pervaded all over, and it permeates every object, even every atom, which is having tremendous amount of knowledge, ability, wonderful qualities and so on. That is what is called as Narayana. And we call that power with the word like Purusha, and we try to visualize that in a masculine form because the ruling this universe is basically a masculine quality. So personifying that particular thing, we try to see him as a Pum Vigraha. Great sages like Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanat Sujata, etc. sung a beautiful song in a few slokas, which is called a Jitante Stotra. The name of the stotra is called Jitante Stotra, in which they say, "O my Lord, you have neither any particular form nor any particular sex. You are not having any particular weapons and not even a single abode. In spite of that, you have chosen a male form to cater the needs of devotees, because devotees, people like us, feel happy by seeing something, then we try to believe in it. Unless we see, we can't believe. We want to see in some way or other, then only we start believing in that. To convince your devotees, to satisfy the needs of devotees like that, you even choose a male form, just for our sake. Na te rupam, na chakaraha, na yudhani, na chaspadam, tathapi purushakaraha, bhaktanam tvam prakasese. They say so. Na te rupam, You have no specific form. Nacha akaraha. You have no specific shape. Na ayudhani. Not having any specific weapons. Nacha aspadam. You are not having any abode, like some God stays in heaven and Saint Peter stays in heaven, in hell, and like Indra stays in Swargaloka and Yama stays in Naragaloka, like Vishnu stays in Vishnu Loka. What is Vishnu Loka? Not having any specific abode as such. Every place is your abode. Every atom is your abode. So you are everywhere. Naja aspadam tathapi. In spite of that, purushakaraha, with a male form, bhaktanam, for whose sake you are appearing on this earth. Bhaktanam, only for the sake of devotees. Tvam prakasase, you are manifesting. So, he manifests in he form, not in sheep form nor in it form, as we discussed about it yesterday. So that is what Narayana is. So in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna revealed that fact. And as in how we can get that Narayana. Swadharma, Jnana, Vairagya Sadhya, Bhakti Eka Gojara, Narayana. We need to have Jnana. We need to have Swadharma, Anushtana first of all. That means whatever we are ordained to do, we have to do. We have to do our job, we have to do our duty, we have to take care of our family, we have to take care of our responsibilities. What we call as Swadharma. Wherever you born, you have something to do with that. You born in a family, you have something to do with the family. You born in a country, you have something to do for that country. And you born in a town, there is something to do. You born in a religion, you have something to do. You born in a particular caste, you have something to do. Don't become a fanatic. But each one of these things are chosen by God. Remember that. You didn't choose anything. Any one of these things were not chosen by you. Did you choose anything like that? No one in that matter. So, when God chose something for you and sent here, keep doing that without any hesitation and second thought. That is called Swadharma. If you do that, dedicating to Him, then that is Jnana. And if you have that as a single point, then any other thing comes to you, you try to keep it aside. It will away that whatever comes distracting you from the main path. Keeping other things away from the mainstream is called Vairagya. If you have these things, the Swadharma, and then comes Jnana, and that develops as Vairagya, and you dedicate yourself out of love to God, which we call as Bhakti, comes then. That is called Sadhya Bhakti. Then God becomes your whole. God becomes your soul, and He will take care of you. Again, when we say that, when God takes care of you, when say, people expect that God should come, and as we see in the cinemas and movies, we want Him to come and just give us His hand and just take us into His laps. No, He won't do that way. Don't expect God to do that way. He guides people around you. He makes people to come to you and suggest you. And you should be in a position to accept it when they give right guidance. There is an interesting story. When a dedicated person was going across the river, then suddenly it started overflowing. And some people came to him and said, "Hey, come on, we are here to help you." He said, "No, I'm a great devotee. Let God take care of me. I don't want any human services and not anybody's help to me." They said, "Fine." They helped others. After some time, it started again, the water level started coming up and up. After some time, a boat has come and said, "Hey, my friend, we are here to help you." He said, "No, I am a real devotee of God. Let God come and save me. I won't take anybody's help like you." Water came to this level. Still it was coming up and up, it came to this level. And then a helicopter came there and said, "Hey, come, we are here." And he said, "No, I am seeking help of God, that's it. There is no other devotee than me." Then suddenly, the water still increased and he was drowned, and ultimately he's been taken to the hell. And then he was very upset. He went to the Yamaraj. "What is this? Where is the justification? Where is the justice here? I am a great devotee, never debated on anybody. I always thinking of God and God only. And I am here with you, Yamaraj. Is it right?" And he said, "Don't get upset, my friend." And this is the way usually people think. Don't worry, a special cell is prepared for you. Anyway. Some 5-star facilities will be provided, no doubt, to you because of your devotional things. "But why should I be here?" He said, you do believe in God, my friend, but God sent you a couple of people to help you, and you denied. And again, God came in the form of a boat. Because as He promised in Bhagavad Gita, "Teshamaham samudharta sagarat bhavami, murtyu samsara sagarat achirat bhavami." Whenever there is a problem, I immediately, go to them and take the rescue operations. And God Himself came as a boat to you. And you said, "No, I don't want you." And after some time, He came taking His own Garuda as a helicopter. And still you denied His help. So when a person denies the help of God, they are our guests. So you are here, and we are here to serve you, my friend. Come on. So don't think that God helps means that God helps in His decorated form and makeup form. No, He never comes that way. He sends some of His devotees. He inspired someone. Don't call devotees. You don't know God appears in what form. At times He may come as a beggar. At times He may come as a sweeper. At times He may come as a bird. At times He may come as an animal. If you have been to North India ever, to any temple, like Badrinath, there will be so many beggars sitting, while going into the temple. Of course, so many people go there, but South Indians, most of the South Indians, they never give any money to them. And they say, "You are so stout and healthy, can't you work?" If they ask, they shout at him and just they keep going. Whereas North Indians, they keep giving money to everyone and they keep going. They distribute rotis and other things, they keep going. They never ask questions. Just they keep doing things like that. And if somebody asks, why unnecessarily you are feeding these guys? Then they say, we don't know God appears in what form. To test your interest. And God may appear in this form. Who knows? How do you know that? I don't know. Maybe God is in one of these guys and testing you how charitable you are. And being the sturdy and healthy person, from how many people you are cheating and earning. And at least, a share should go to these people and let God be happy. I don't want these people to be happy. I want God in these people should feel happy. Just to keep going. They never ask any questions like that. We have seen a few people like that, and we learnt lessons. We learnt lessons from such people, So, we always expect that God means as if, we are seeing in the movies, a smoke must be there, and then smoke suddenly disappears and then he appears. That may not happen, That may not happen all the times. In movies, okay. So, loving God and having faith in Him has different ways. And He appears and gives us guidance in several ways. My friend, you wouldn't believe in God who came in the form of helicopter, who came in the form of boat, who sent His devotees to advise you, so you are here. So, bhakti towards that God appears in the form of universe. That is Narayana. That is what Bhagavad Gita says to us he said in 10th and 11th chapters, right? So, to cultivate that faith and that devotion and that sort of service without any expectation in return, what are the things that we need to know? For a man, let him belong to any religion. But man should understand these things. And man should know these things for his own sake, not for the sake of God. If we learn Bhagavad Gita, it's not that God is going to benefit. No benefit goes to him. No. If we work for someone, we have to pay something for him. And if you learn Bhagavad Gita, take that knowledge, you need not pay anything, just free downloadable. Yes. And you can just sell it to anyone you like. Yeah. No, we are publishing Gita books and selling in the market, God never claimed any patent right. No. So, we have chosen that Gita Artha Sangraha just to understand what God revealed in that for our sake at different parts of Gita. We chanted the first sloka yesterday. Let us chant it again and go for the second one. Swadharma jnana vairagya
Swadharma jnana vairagya Swadharma jnana vairagya
Sadhya bhaktyeka gocharaha
Sadhya bhaktyeka gocharaha Sadhya bhaktyeka gocharaha
Narayana param brahma
Narayana param brahma Narayana param brahma
Gita Shastre Samiritaha
Gita Shastre Samiritaha
second one. Jnana karmatmike nishthe. Yoga lakshye susamskrute. Atmanubhuti siddhyarthe. Purvashatkena chodite. Bhagavad Gita having 18 chapters divided into 3 parts. First 6, next 6, last 6. Each 6 are called as one Shatkam. Shatkam is wherein there are 6. Anything wherever there are 6, we call it Shatkam. Wherever there are 3, how do you call it? Yes? No. If there are 6 in one, you call it a Shatka. And if there are 3 in one, Trika. Trikam. Where there are 4, Chetushkam. Where there are 5, good. Panchakam. Go Panchakam we call it. That means 5 things belonging to the cow are mixed up and made some preparation which is called Panchakam. If there are 2, right. What is it? Dvika. If there are 2 in one, we call it Dvika, Trika, Chetushka, Panchaka, Shatka, like that. Okay? You learned Sanskrit also. Here are 6 in one, so it's called as Shatka. Now in this sloka, the Acharya is trying to say, what is the essence of first 6 chapters in one sloka? See the wonder. Purva Shatkena Chodite. The Purva Shatka means the first 6 chapters is revealing Jnana karma atmike nishthe. Jnana nishtha and karma nishtha. There are 2 nishthas revealed in Bhagavad Gita. Yoga lakshye susamskrute. What is the aim for jnana nishtha or karma nishtha? It should be evolved as yoga nishtha. The ultimate goal is yoga. Here in Bhagavad Gita, yoga doesn't mean just practicing yoga abhyasa. Yoga means that which allows you to have self-realization. A knowledge that gives you self-realization makes you to understand who you are and to whom you belong and how to surrender to Him for having your own realization, not reaching Him. Okay? Not reaching God. Reaching God is not discussed here at all in the first 6 chapters. Any sloka in first 6 chapters you take, though it appears talking about God, but it's not talking about God. It is talking about only the self-realization, about the soul, about ourselves. How we have our own realization, what we call as self-realization. But even to have that self-realization, what we call as Atma Sakshatkara, Atmanubhuti Siddhyarthe. Atmanubhuti Siddhi. Anubhuti is experiencing. Atmanubhuti is self-experience. Ardha is the result. Atmanubhuti Siddhi means resulting self-realization. You understood the meaning of the words in this sloka? In the third line, it is said, Atmanubhuti Siddhyarthe. Ardham is the result, is the goal. What goal we want? Atmanubhuti is the Siddhi. That means experiencing self, what is called in Samskrita as Atma Sakshatkara. In other terms, they call it as Kaivalya. So to attain Kaivalya, having self-enlightenment and self-realization, Atma Sakshatkara is called as Kaivalya. Reaching God and His realization is called as Moksha. Okay? So here they are talking about the Atma Sakshatkara. What is needed for that? Yoga Lakshe Susamskrite. It should be Susamskrita, it should be well qualified. It has to be qualified properly. And then it becomes yoga. And how it will be qualified? You need to have the Karmanistha and you need to have Jnana-nishtha. Then they become Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. He wants the Karma and Jnana must be cultivated as yogas. What is the difference between Karma and Karma Yoga? Is discussed in first 6 chapters.
The first step and Karma Yoga is
Karma is the practice. Having faith in Shastras. If someone do some practice, having faith in God and in Shastra, but expecting so many things like results, doing something with ego, that also becomes karma. One performed Sandhyavandan and said, I do Sandhyavandan every day, do you know? I do 108 Gayatri every day. Well, that's fine. Then for whose sake are you doing? I ate this much of food. That's good. For whose sake you did it? You ate it. Is it for your sake or for my sake you ate it? For your own sake you ate it. That's fine. Be happy. And why should you say that? So also the work, what you do, you are not favoring anybody. You are not doing favor to anybody. All that you need to do for your own sake, That's what we need to learn. While doing what you call the service to poor people also, don't be proud in doing that and say that I did this much. You can boldly say, God privileged me to serve this way. Then do that. Even you wash the bathroom, still feel God gave a privilege to you to do that service. Anything you do in that matter, if just you do it as a duty, then that becomes a karma. But when you do any activity dedicating to God and with a feel of His presence in your heart, then the same activity becomes karma yoga. So also jnana yoga. Keeping the jnana as a protection, as a protecting cell around you, protecting shield all around you. What nowadays the prime ministers and presidents arrange all around a bulletproof box, while giving public demonstrations. So in that box they stand and then they give the discourses and other things. That's fine. You need to have such thing for your own sake. And that is what we call as jnana, nishtha. And if you make God himself as your protecting shell, what you call protecting shield, then you dedicate everything to him, that becomes jnana yoga. So jnana karma atmike nishthe yoga lakshe susamskrite, if it is well qualified, what you are expecting as a result? Atmanubhuti siddhyarthe. We want self-realization. How it is attained, when it will be attained, and the mode you have to attain that, and the steps while attaining, all they were discussed in the first 6 chapters. That is what they said in this sloka. Okay? Read the sloka once. Jnana karmatmike nishthe.
Jnana karmatmike nishthe. Jnana karmatmike nishthe.
Yoga lakshye susamskrute.
Yoga lakshye susamskrute.
Atman. Okay.
Yoga lakshye susamskrute.
Atmanubhuti siddhyarthe.
Atmanubhuti siddhyarthe. Atmanubhuti siddhyarthe.
Purvashatkena chodite.
Purvashatkena chodite. Purvashatkena chodite.
So if somebody asks you what is the essence of first 6 chapter, just you can read the sloka for them. That's it. And next sloka talks about the second 6. Dvitiya Shatkam. Right? The essence of first Shatkam is over. Now the Dvitiya Shatkam. Madhyame Bhagavat Tattva.
Madhyame Bhagavat Tattva. Madhyame Bhagavat Tattva.
Yadhatmya.
Yadhatmya. Yadhatmya.
Avapti siddhaye.
Avapti siddhaye. Avapti siddhaye.
Yadhatmya avapti siddhaye.
Yadhatmya avapti siddhaye. Yadhatmya avapti siddhaye.
Yadhatmya avapti. Yadhatmya avapti. Yadhatmya avapti. When join, Yadhatmya avapti. Yadhatmya avapti siddhaye.
Yadhatmya avapti siddhaye. Yadhatmya avapti siddhaye.
Jnana karmabhi nirvartyo.
Jnana karmabhi nirvartyo. Jnana karmabhi nirvartyo.
Bhakti yogaha.
Bhakti yogaha. Bhakti yogaha.
Prakirtitaha.
Prakirtitaha. Prakirtitaha.
In the Madhyama Shatka, Bhakti yogaha prakirtitaha, last stanza. Bhakti yoga has been explained. Bhakti yoga has been elaborated. How? Bhagavat tattva yadhatmya avapti siddhaye. We want to know about God. And knowing God is not just knowing God alone. Whatever God has, knowing about them also. What qualities God has and why He has those qualities. And how He has those qualities. And where He uses those qualities. And while using them, what liberty He has. We may be possessing so many things, but we don't use them as we want. Right? Most of the times, we will be having several things in our hand, but we are not supposed to use them. So we restrain from using them, and somebody comes, hey, you have this thing, why don't you use it? I'm sorry. Because that doesn't belong to him. So he can't use it. Here it is said, why God is able to use any sort of things, any sort of liberty. Is there any reason? And is there any, again, reason for us who are not able to use them? These are the things explained in, second Shatkam. Bhagavat Tattva Yadhatmya. Yadhatmya means knowing as it is. Knowing about it as it is. Not deviating even just a micron. Knowing everything about it. ఉన్నదున్నట్టుగా తెలుసుకొనుట. ఏమాత్రము మినహాయింపు లేకుండా. That is called yadhatmyam. See, knowing about what you call Arjuna. Let us take Arjuna as an example. Knowing about Arjuna means what? Arjuna is a great warrior. He is the ruler of Pandavas. He is one among the Pandavas. He is younger to Bhimasena and is elder to Nakula and Sahadeva. And he is the son of Pandu. And he waged war with Suyodhana and other persons. Ultimately, he lost his son Abhimanyu. And finally, while his brother was going to the Swargarohan, he fell down in the midway. Is this all that we need to know about Arjuna? This is also knowing something about him, no doubt. But knowing everything about him means how he belongs to Krishna, how he controlled him, what made him to surrender to Krishna, and what made Krishna also to help this guy. Even if you know about them also, then you are knowing totally. Right? Otherwise, you are knowing just only about a part of the coin, ignoring the other side of the coin. We need to know both. So, self-realization, most of the people talk about this word, right? Self-realization. Atma-sakshatkara. Atma-sakshatkara becomes fulfilled when you understand the boss of the Atma, responsible for Atmas entering into the different bodies. Is it Atma chose to enter into these bodies? Is Atma choosing? No. Atma is not choosing anything of its own. You cannot also. But it's going through. That means what? There is some controller. So if you say that I know everything about Atma, unless you know who is his controller, you didn't know everything about Atma. Unless you know how it is surrendered to him, it is not knowing about Atma at all. So knowing what you call in a holistic manner is important. Not knowing as a part or partly knowing something about something is not good. So here, knowing about Atma means Atma belongs to God. That's why in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, also in 6th, he said, "Ho Arjun, do anything you want, but be hooked to me, I will take care. There he did not mention to surrender, but when he came to second shatka, there he very clearly made that you need to surrender. Mam ekam saranam praja. Ekam. No, how strongly he emphasized on that. So, knowing Atma means knowing about God also. Knowing about God means knowing about Atma also, because both of them are inseparably related to each other. That is what Krishna revealed in second Shatkam. And how it comes, that devotion? Here he says, Bhagavat Tattvayadhatmya. Bhagavat Tattvam we need to know. Tattvam is a concept. And just knowing is not enough. Bhagavat Tattva Yadhatmya Avapti Siddhi. Yadhatmyam unnadunnattuga teliyadam. Ani kada manakunna. Knowing as it is, and we need to own that. But how do we get it? Jnana karma bhi nirvartyo. It has to be fulfilled. It has to be done. Jnana karma abhinirvartya. If you have the jnana and karma together, then you can evolve to that level. Some people take only jnana and they said, we became jnana yogis. And then we don't need anything to be practiced. But they need food to be eaten. That practice they never give up. But other things they give up. Because, God is only the very bad victim, for all of us. So whatever we stop doing, we take an excuse from him. Here he says, jnana is not only enough, karma is not only enough. Karma must be there because you have the body. With the body you need to do certain things. And because you have the soul, you need to attain something. Most of us, are very much interested in attaining wealth, attaining physical possessions. But what about the possessions of Atma? You don't want that? After all, you are only the Atma. What's your need? What's your requirement? You want to be always happy. Happiness is your requirement for which you need not pay anything. All that, this is important. Because in the first 6 chapters, he gave a training as to how to use it. Jnana karma. So jnana must lead to karma. So many people thinking that jnana yogis, they give up the karma. But Krishna did not say to give up karma. The result of jnana is doing karma only. All the difference is those who are not having real jnana, they think, I do this. What can I do? After all, I have to survive and I have to maintain my family. That's how he does. But those who are having that jnana, then while doing that, you feel joy. You never feel pain. You feel joy. That is only the difference. For one who has jnana, jnana cannot be seen and cannot be shown in certificates. I got these many degrees. I got these many degrees. No question. No degrees are shown. It's not to show off. It is to feel. It's not to say. It is to experience. It's not for somebody's sake. It is for his own attainment. Jnana must be translated to the action like that. So here it is said, Jnana karma abhinirvartyo, which has to be accrued through the karma, supported by the jnana of God. What type of jnana of God we need? Bhagavat Tattva Yadhatmya Avapti. We want to know about the Bhagavat Tattva. We need that karma supported by the jnana that should give us a sort of enlightenment of God, and then only we can surrender to Him. Then only our activities become His services. In 10th, in 11th, especially in 9th chapter, he discussed about these things, and then in 12th chapter, he revealed how easy practicing bhakti is. That's very interesting. Most of the times people nowadays are saying, Swamiji, something was told in the previous yugas. After all, this is, atomic age and speed age. We can't do that long. So, can all these acharyas come together, sit together and make something that is, practicably just we can learn and do for this type of people, for this day? We tell them, we need not write something new today. Whatever is needed, it is already given, written. We need to practice it, that's all. Read 12th chapter, you can understand that. See, in 12th chapter, he said about bhakti, and in that he gave several options. Arjuna, do this. Oh, you can't do this? At least do this. Oh, even this also is impossible. Come on, another step down. All the way it came down to the earth. Sacha mama priyaha, like that. Who can give that? So, God is very compassionate in sense. So, all that He expects us to understand the things, Bhagavat Tattva Yadhatmya. Try to understand the real thing of God. That is what is important. Not about, just you got some book and read something and understood something and started, running after them. Very recently, some mother came to us in California. Some mother and father both came to us. Yes, Swamiji, my son was in search of some guru a couple of years ago. And suddenly what happened, he found some path and he landed up in that, and slowly he starts saying, I am everything, and I don't want mom and dad, and I am by myself. And of course he is still going to the school and college, but he's going to college, he's studying. And then he left the home and he's attending the camps, and ultimately when we came to understand that he is in a very extremist organization, where people practice black magics and other things. Swamiji, yes, could you do something for our child? And the mommy came, with tears, shedding tears. This is something, don't choose such things. Read Bhagavad Gita carefully. There he revealed everything. Bhagavad Tattva you understand. But not just Bhagavad Tattva, Bhagavad Tattva Yadhatmyam is very important. What you call that? A realistic thing of God. ఉన్నట్టిగా తెలుసుకోగలగడం, ఏదో పై పైన తెలుసుకోవడం కాదు. Not knowing something on the surface, not knowing superficially, knowing perfectly. Bhagavad Gita helps us in doing that. Several places he said how to do that. And Yadhatmya Avapti Siddha, first chapter focused upon the self realization, and second six chapters focused upon God behind the soul and how to love Him and how to reach Him. So this is first. That is why some people say self-realization is the ultimate. But in Bhagavad Gita it is said self-realization is a drop of the ocean of God realization. Because self is very small, soul is very small, and God is a whole. So you are just an iota of the whole, And if you understood about your own self, just you attain only an iota of the whole. And what is that whole? Is explained in the second Shatka, which is called Bhakti Shatka. The first Shatka is called Atma Shatka. First 6 chapters are called Atma Shatka, and second Shatka is called as Bhakti Shatka. And the next one is called as Purva Sesham. Purva Sesha Shatka they call it. Come on, let us give a reading of this sloka again. Madhyame Bhagavat Tattva.
Madhyame Bhagavat Tattva. Madhyame Bhagavat Tattva.
Yadhatmya Vapti Siddhaye.
Yadhatmya Vapti Siddhaye. Yadhatmya Vapti Siddhaye.
Jnana Karma Bhinirvartyo.
Jnana Karma Bhinirvartyo. Jnana Karma Bhinirvartyo.
Bhakti Yoga Prakirtitaha.
Bhakti Yoga Prakirtitaha. Bhakti Yoga Prakirtitaha.
Right. How it is said, that comes in the next chapters now. This is as the essence of all the 6 chapters, just he gave this. But what the 7 chapters said, what 8th, what 9th, what 10th, 11th and 12th, that comes while we read those slokas that related to that particular chapter. Okay? But now you understand the essence of what that 6th chapter is. Last 6 chapters are called as Purva Sesham. We are reading the sloka that talks about the last 6 chapters. Okay? Pradhana Purusha Vyakta.
Pradhana Purusha Vyakta. Pradhana Purusha Vyakta.
Sarvesvara Vivechanam.
Sarvesvara Vivechanam. Sarvesvara Vivechanam.
Karmadhir Bhaktirityadi.
Karmadhir Bhaktirityadi. Karmadhir Bhaktirityadi.
Tyadi he ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ ದಿ అంటే he ఉందా he లేదనుకుంటాను బహుశా. Is it there? Just refer. పూర్వశేషోంతిమోదితః. ప్రధాన పురుష వ్యక్త సర్వేశ్వర వివేచనం కర్మ ధీహి భక్తిహి ఇత్యాది పూర్వశేష అంతిమ ఉదిత పూర్వశేషోంతిమోదిత. He కూడా ఉందా? Yeah, and you have the book? Okay, come on, let's refer and say whether in the third line, last he, we will refer and tell you whether the he is there or not. So here in the last 6 chapters, which is called as the Purvasesh Antima Udita. Antima means in the last 6 chapters. In the last I had said, Uditaha, it is said. What is that? Purvasesha, whatever is remaining to be told. So he said a few things in first 6. He explained a few more things in the second 6. Still something was remaining, which he wanted to say earlier, but Arjuna was not in a mood to hear. After showing his universal form in 11th chapter, then Arjuna started believing in Krishna. Now till then Arjuna had no belief. He had faith, no doubt. But after all, Krishna was driving, right? See, we may be having so much knowledge, but our samskara is also working behind, See, when a person is a diabetic, and when he sees a gulab jamun there, and he loves that very much, and then immediately by seeing that his tongue says, come on, give me that. And then he says, okay, come on, let us take it for today. And anyway, we are taking injection, right? What is that injection? Insulin, yeah. Anyway, we are taking insulin. Let us take one more insulin for this day. From tomorrow onwards, just we can give in total. Yes. We are not going to touch any more from tomorrow. After all, this is a temporary body anyway. Whatever is given by God, it's given by God. His logic works very well then. Justifying the thing he's doing. I don't know whether you know it or not. Even a thief also justifies his act of stealing, He thinks, after all, I have a duty. I have to do my karma yoga. And my karma yoga is taking care of my own family. God has given me a wife. God has given me a few children. I should take care of them. If I allow them to suffer, and then that itself is a sin. To maintain them, I should do something or other, no matter what I do. Then he start going for his own job, his own karma yoga. If he doesn't come to that conclusion, he cannot do that. Know that? If he thinks that it is a sinful act, he cannot do that. Some people eating meat, and they come to us and ask, Swamiji, should we to give it up? What's wrong in eating? And I say, my friend, it is a tamasic food, so we have to give it up. And they said, Swamiji, I can't just give it up, because I'm so used to eat, so how can I do that? We try to convince him, saying that, see, my friend, it's a piece of flesh. It comes from a living creature. When life is gone, you call it a corpse. And when you eat, you're just eating a corpse. And ultimately you are making your stomach as a graveyard. Don't do that. Swamiji, I'll try. I'll try, Swamiji, they said. Then I said, don't worry. Just make a trial. But remember, while eating, this is a corpse. I'm eating a corpse. This is going to become a graveyard. I'm going to be a mobile graveyard. Thinking that you eat it, no problem. Swamiji, how can I think and eat that? That's why you have to think every day. Justification, what makes man to go into the work. He justifies whatever he's doing. So, Krishna, while preaching so many things, he also was driving. So Arjuna also has his own justifications and weaknesses. After all, he is also a man on this earth. He has no exemption. So again, the prabhava of this earth also will be on him. His own samskaras come up and dominate, Then he started thinking that after all, he is a driver. After seeing his universal form in 11th chapter, then he said, I got you. And then from 13th chapter onwards, whatever Krishna was telling, he was listening to that very, very, very obediently. Till then, what are you talking about? What are you saying? Why should I do this? Why should I do that? That's how Arjuna was. So, from 13th chapter onwards, he didn't say anything new, but he reorganized the whole 12 chapters' essence. He talked about the karma, jnana, bhakti, everything in a reorganized manner. Whatever was remaining earlier, that also just was explained there, but he segregated the subject. He separated, 13th chapter, kshetra, kshetrajna. Only two things. His focus was on only two things. And 14th chapter, gunatraya vibhaga. What is sattva guna, what is rajoguna, what is tamoguna, what is their impact on us? What is their impact on the manas? What is the impact on the body? What is the impact in the knowledge, in our activities? He said that. And in the 15th chapter, Purushottama Prapti, exclusively what the ultimate God is, how he becomes Purushottama. His focus is on that. And again, 16th, and Daivasura Sampat. What is the divine qualities and what is holding a knife in his hand to cut the disease of a patient. Suddenly Sneham started in him. I don't want to cut this patient. He already cut the stomach. And then he said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to see this. I don't want to bear it. Snehams are developing in him. And you don't want to close it down. What happens then? This is asthana sneha. Sneha should not be there during that time. Whatever is to be cut and he has to cut, what has to be removed and he has to remove, and he has to dress it up, and then only he can come out and he has to send him out. If suddenly Sneham started overwhelming in him and he don't want to do anything, it's very dangerous. Arjuna fell in such a situation. Because they are like bacteria, suffering the society, causing lot of damage to the society. Who? Kauravas, yes. And his duty, like a doctor, to operate on them. Right? For doctor, no compassion is desirable. Then, in the operation theatre I am talking, So what is to be cut, he has to cut and remove. Otherwise at times, the whole body may get collapsed and or you may remove the whole hand. If you want to remove this part, remove and protect the whole body. For want of the whole body, to protect the whole body, if something is to be removed, remove. That was Arjuna's duty in those days. But suddenly the scenario has been changed and said, first of all he said, that foolish fellow was supported by the Dhritarashtra. And suddenly he started saying, he's my brother, he's my grandfather, he's my guru, he's my brother, he's my nephew, and he's so and so. What is this? Is there time for such things then in the war field? He would have rejected, well ahead before arranging the whole assembling all of them there in the war field. Then it would have been wonderful. And if they are interested to go, the bhaiksham apiha loke sreya, he said, Begging alms is better than waging the war, he said. He would have done this directly from the forest. Isn't it? He would have gone immediately after Ajñātavāsa or Aranyavāsa itself, he would have gone to the forest. Nobody would have bothered about him. Anyway, people forgot about them and they would have been happy. But they provoked, assembled all the forces, and the war was declared, and all the conches are blown, and arrows were ready. They're about just to shoot the arrows. Is it the situation then to say, no, I won't? So that is called asthana sneha. Sneham is good. It's a really, really good quality. But asthana sneha is very dangerous. You saw a lion and then started developing love towards that. and went, oh my lion. Finished. So, asthana sneham is very dangerous. And karunyam. Karunyam is sorrow, a sort of sorrow. Karuna is not able to bear with the sorrow of others. He also starts crying. What is called as paradukha dukkhitvam. Seeing the sorrow of others, he also starts crying. That is what we call as a karunyam. But it should result for something. Like, if I am really crying like that, I want to stop my crying. And the reason for my crying is he is crying, and I should go to him and I should stop him crying by giving what he deserves, what he needs. Not just sad crying is important. Helping them is very important. And Arjuna's karunya was wrongly placed. It is a misplacement of love, we can say that. So, asthana, sneha, karunya. This is what happened to Arjuna. That made him to think dharma, adharma, dhiya, akulam. Dharme, adharma, dhi. In dharma, he thought that is adharma. And in adharma, he thought it is dharma. Dhi means buddhi, right? Dharma, adharma, dhiya. Thinking dharma is adharma and adharma is dharma. Akulam, he became restless. He was moved. Dharma, dharma, dhiya kulam, pardham. That was the state of Partha. And what he did? Prapannam, surrendered. He said, oh Krishna, I am unable to decide what is to be done, what not to be done. I am prapanna. I surrender to you. Guide me. Yachreyasyan nishchitam bruhitan me sishyasteham syadhi mam tvam prapannam pardham prapannam uddisya. Towards him Shastrāvataranam Krutam. Lord Krishna revealed the Shastra. Shastram yokka avataranamu jarigenu. Shastrāvataranam Krutam. Lord Krishna revealed the Shastra, essence of Shastra, to guide such prapanna who is confused dharma as adharma and adharma as dharma and got stuck up there to where to show his love, where to show his concern, why to show that concern, is it desirable or not, is it good or not. If one person stopped a bus, threw petrol on that, burnt 30 people uncompassionately, without any reason, Is it good to leave him like that? Huh? Is it good to leave him like that? Supreme Court ordered him for sentence, death sentence. Then he went to the President of India, converting himself as a Christian. And then the President of India said, yes, come on, best. We gave him Kshama. Do you think that is right, Kshama? This has happened in India. Do you know that? You don't? My God. Oh. Huh? Actually, the incident took place in 1988 or 89. Okay? And the case was going on and on for almost 10, 11 years. It was in the court like that. He was in the jail till then. And the Supreme Court declared in probably 99 or 2000. When? Do you remember? Do you know the incident? You know. It was in Andhra Pradesh, and the bus was stopped and burnt in Chilakalurupeta in Guntur district. You remember that?
Yeah, I know that.
Good.
I don't know.
Yeah. It was near Chilakalurupeta. The bus was stopped on the highway. There were two guys who just stopped the bus. They didn't allow people to go out of the bus also. One person jumped out from the window. He also again was pushed into the bus, and they burned the bus. All they became ashes. Then of course they were caught, and the case was in court for 11 years. Till then they were in the jail. Then the court gave a sentence. Next morning they were about to be hanged. Next morning at 9 o'clock, the date was fixed like that. Okay? It was fixed in Rajamahendri Central Jail. Then, before that night at 12 o'clock, they both took Christianity. They both have been baptized. Then the international amnesty started working for them. They forced the President of India, who is supposed to be a very great person, Shankar Dayal Sharma. And then they gave Kshama Bhiksha. From the next day onwards, people start saying, Christ saves you. Is this a real Kshama you consider? Is this a real Sneha you think? Is it real Karunya you think? This is Asthana Sneha, Asthana Karunyam. That was Arjuna. Asthana Sneha Karunya. Because of that, Dharme Adharmadhi. Adharme Dharmadhi. In the Adharma he tried it is Dharma. In Dharma he tried it is Adharma. Like that, he got terribly confused and became restless. So confused. Such Prapanna Partha surrendered to God, and then God revealed the Shastra, taking him as an excuse. Because we people also will be landing in such situations several times. Many a time we encounter such situations. So for the sake of such people, he revealed the Shastra. Read the sloka now. Asthana Sneha Karunya.
Asthana Sneha Karunya. Asthana Sneha Karunya.
Dharma Dharma Dhiya Kulam.
Dharma Dharma Dhiya Kulam. Dharma Dharma Dhiya Kulam.
Partham Prapannamuddisya.
Partham Prapannamuddisya. आत्मं प्रपन्नमुद्दिश्य
शास्त्रावतरणं कृतम् श्रीकृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः. This is the essence of first chapter. Is it easy? Do you think that it's easily understandable? This is how each chapter was described, The essence of, if somebody asks now, what is the first chapter? What is the essence of the first chapter? Can you say in one line? Now somebody asked yesterday, Swamiji, can you tell me the essence of this camp in one line? This is the way we can say that the essence of each chapter in one sloka. Okay?